ministry headhunted me. I'd rather be poor and happy than rich and miserable. I remember going to meet Beyonce during the day and then coming back and sleeping on the basement of my brother's student house. Yeah. I don't think straight white men are the enemy. I used to be one. Class was probably the thing that knocked me out of certain rooms more so than being queer. Maya turned down producing 6 Lady Gaga tracks because success to her doesn't look like producing Lady Gaga.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Artist Breakthrough podcast, where we bring you some of the industry's finest experts, breaking through artists and established artists to share their story with you, to share their journey, their tips that you guys can use in your careers. Now this week, I'm joined by the amazing Stephen Brains. Now Stephen is a leading figure in electronic music. He's a passionate advocate for diversity and inclusion, co-founder of HE.SHE.THEY. I would say he's helped shape a more inclusive global club culture.
I hope so.
100%. And also managing world-class artists as well through his collective, The Weird and the Wonderful. I've got to say, I love that name, by the way. Now, from his journey growing up in Sunderland to becoming a respected voice in the industry, his story is truly inspiring. So we're going to dig deep today and have a chat with him. Stephen, it's great to have you with us, mate.
Great to have you. Great to have you with me. What am I saying?
I'm the guest.
I was very flustered in the taxi on the way here. No, it's great to be here.
No, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Like I said, we love talking to sort of all different people from the industry, and I think it's really good for people to know who don't know you already, to know who you are and hear your story as well. Because I do, I know about you, and obviously I've known you a little while, and I know your story is really inspiring. And what you do in the industry, you really are an advocate for pushing things forward and helping people, within club culture. So I really want to kind of get into it. So,
well, I always just think when I was a kid that it's really important to have role models and to kind of that. I believe that whole adage of like, it's easier to be what you can see.
Yeah.
So that's why I come on and
totally, mate. I really appreciate it. We really do. So for people who might not know your journey, let's get into it. Let's go.
How dare they not know?
How dare they not know who you are already? Let's go straight in and talk how you even first kind of got started getting into the industry. Because I like these stories, how varied they can be. It's quite different to the path of an artist. You know what I mean? Like you were studying psychology, right?
So I've got a master's in psychology. But I started originally by going to Ibiza, and so for context, I was a goth, and then I liked Nirvana, and I dyed my hair blonde, and it went orange because at the time I didn't have any gay friends to tell me how to dye my hair properly. And so I had to shave it off, and then so now it's this like rugby boy with short hair or whatever. Went to Manumission. There was a guy dancing who was hollowing out a fruit with his
When was this?
This was like 1998.
Yeah, so this was when Manumission was at its height.
Oh, it was insane. It was 10,000 people.
It's crazy.
What's now Universe was privilege.
Yeah. I think for people to understand the context of what Manumission was, I suppose it was that era of El Row, wasn't it, in a way?
Yeah. But a very naughty El Row.
Yeah, it was crazy, wasn't it?
I mean, it's still one of my favourite.
It was one of my first experiences in Ibiza there at Privilege, and seeing the very similar thing and being like, what's going on?
Yeah, so we were being dicks, and we were just looking at and kind of chuckling, and then this woman with big fiery red hair tapped us on the shoulder, and she was like, no, laugh with, not at. And I was like, okay, whatever, sorry. And that was Claire from Manumission.
Wow.
And then she was like,
really interesting.
Yeah, she was like, you wouldn't get up there. And we were like, yeah, we would. So couldn't holler out a fruit. But just wore some small pants and got on stage. And then somebody in the back, it was just talking, heard my accent, and was like, oh, we're trying to bring this club night Peach that was at Camden Palace.
Yeah.
And bring it nationally. And we want to do one in Sunderland, and then they would later do one in Newcastle, but wanted to do one in Sunderland. And they were like, do you know anyone who could be the person to host it and help run it. I was like, yeah, me. And I was like 16, just a bit drunk.
way.
And like, I was like, yeah. So then I started.
So you
running
blagged
this
an opportunity to take
100%,
Peach
yeah.
from London. Because that's one of my first clubbing experiences as well.
It's
Like,
brilliant
I think I
club
went
night,
to that in '98. It was like Graham Gold. And all that.
Camden Palace.
Epic at Camden Palace. That was a
So we
really
got all
big,
those, like,
respected night.
Sharp
club night.
Boys, Rob
Yeah.
Kazira, John O Fleming.
So you basically
Luke Neville, like,
blagged being the promoter in your hometown in Sunderland to bring that night up.
Yeah. So like they paid for it. I didn't pay for it because I had no money. But they were like, oh, it's quite a young demographic at this club night. It's just like my friends from college. None of us could like legally be allowed in the club.
Oh, mate.
But then, because of running that night, my ministry headhunted me.
Oh,
So
right,
because not because necessarily I was any good, just they were like, oh, you're the KISS guy. So because KISS was part of EMAP that owned the rights to Peach at the time.
Yeah.
So when I went to my freshers fair at like Northumbria, I was running their freshers party at Newcastle Uni. So like I'd started really early, just from, honestly, I so believe in fake it till you make it and just putting your hand up and like,
Yeah.
like, because there's so much stuff like imposter syndrome wise,
Yeah.
where you're like, oh, I'm not ready yet, or did it? You're never properly ready until you start doing it. And even when you are ready, there's always challenges and things that you didn't envision there was going to be. So I very much believe like just try and put your hand up. If someone offers you something and you kind of want to do it, then
Even if you feel there's a little bit of doubt, just go for it.
yeah, because do you know what? You might be like an 8 out of 10 or something, and you think, oh, I'm not quite 10 out of 10. But the person just wants the job done. So
Yeah.
if the 6 out of 10 puts their hand up and says, I'll do it, and the 8 out of 10 doesn't, it'll go to the 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
So you've just taken yourself out of a
That's a
potential
really
situation.
interesting thing that you say. And actually, I do still think that to this day, of course, the industry is made up of loads of professionals and people, but there are a lot of people who are still involved in the industry.
Yeah, there's a lot of people still faking it.
Yeah,
even though they've made it.
100%, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about it.
But there's a lot of like, oh, this was somebody's best friend or somebody.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Whatever.
It's still apparent now, and I think that's really cool. So these like obviously there's loads going on between this, but I love how these opportunities. So then, what was you doing with ministry?
Just so it was when ministry had its magazine out, which was like, to anyone who doesn't know, it was like a really big circulated thing. It was like Mix Mag. So I was their student brand manager. So I was like doing ministry events and making sure that people bought it on campus, like getting people there to take out subscriptions to it, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then started running my own nights in Newcastle, but also like flyering for a night called Promise, which was my favorite night that was in Newcastle at the time.
Yeah.
Shindig, all these different things. And then I wanted to break into the music industry kind of proper, as it were. Like, so then I went to meet all these record labels down south because there was a new venue opening in Newcastle called the Sage Gateshead, which is now the Glass House, which is this amazing like £100 million like arts building.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is anyone doing contemporary stuff? And they're like, oh, not yet, because it's not built. And I was like, oh, okay. What happens if we do something like and start preparing it now? So I created this like mini festival with them.
Oh, wow.
Just because I needed a mechanism to find new artists to then tell A&Rs about in London.
Amazing.
I was very like ADHD, but very, very motivated to like, okay, if the role doesn't exist, I'll create the role. And
so
like,
you had a bit of a vision at this point then of thinking of what you were aiming to do.
Yeah, I was like psychology. Well, I wanted to be a WWE wrestler, and then I hurt my shoulder, so I wasn't doing that.
For real? You wanted to be a wrestler?
I finally made my pro wrestling debut in London last week in drag as my character Sandra Spitz, which is amazing. I had to wrestle a bit. It's for Hustle Wrestling.
Hang on a minute.
I had to wrestle a baseball bat off someone, and then they dragged my wig off, and now we're in a feud.
Oh my God. I didn't know about this. This is amazing.
That, and it's the same character I do stand up in. So I'm doing my next stand up at the Comedy Store in London on the 21st of June.
That's wicked. And so you use your wrestling character as like a stand-up character for that, or you are in this particular
Yeah,
thing?
to do both. So it's
That's
like
so cool.
just create this character. I mean, like Sandra Spitz is just this like silly thing that ended up coming out of me and my flatmate being bored in lockdown. But now like Lana Del Rey and people like that follow it, and it's just kind of got its own.
That's
its
so
own
cool.
life.
So that's been a passion since like young age of like
what drag? Nah,
No,
I was scared. I was randomly scared of drag queens when I was younger. I also
wrestling and then
straight.
onto wrestling. I suppose.
Oh yeah, wrestling,
and then onto this, what it's become.
Wrestling is my escape from like music now.
That's
so like
awesome.
I love like WrestleMania is coming up, and I'm partly tired because I stayed up and watched NXT last night.
That's so cool.
But you've got to have passion, but it's mad. There's like Brendan Long, who's a big agent. He does like Emily Lenz, massive wrestling fan. So we go watch the wrestling. Dan Avery. There's this like weird little techno subgroup of.
Do you find that happens in the industry in general? There's that like
it's just people, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. It's just people, right?
Like,
exactly. Because there's a whole bunch of like some quite big DJs I know, and actually you wouldn't necessarily put them together in the industry, but they meet up and go and play golf together.
Exactly.
It's like the oddest photo I've seen. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. Like they're totally different styles and genres, but they all go and hit the ball together.
Great leveler of people, because it's such a nuts thing to like pro wrestling that like everyone's just like being 12 and just being like, oh, do you love the Undertaker?
That sounds like so much fun. So this was part of the journey, right?
So yeah, it was what I always ideally wanted to do, but didn't.
So really, like getting into club culture changed a lot of that. Like once you experienced Ibiza, started promoting the nights and stuff up north.
Yeah, like I loved like trip hop growing up, like Massive Attack and Tricky, who I ended up managing, and Portishead. And then my sister used to listen to a station called Atlantic 252, like long wave. I think it was a medium wave anyway on radio, and that was like hearing all the dance hits, and I used to record the European Top 20 on MTV, which was all like naughty dance tunes.
Yeah.
So yeah, my sister would go to Resurrections and Helter Skelter and all that stuff. So
amazing.
I liked that, and then I used to do stuff at uni for Sunday Central and things like that. There's a guy called Madders who used to run Sunday Central.
Yeah, really influential in the scene in those areas as well at that time.
Crazy guy. So, but then we did some radio shows. So as well as podium dance for Sunday Central, I do some other bits and bobs for them. I also used to sometimes be on radio, Madders Mad Scottish Grandma, which he's not Scottish. None of it made sense. That was Sunday Central. So I'm very just up for, if something's weird, hence the Weird and the Wonderful is the name for the management company. I wanted to manage people that were weird and wonderful, like musically as well. My favorite artist of all time is Kate Bush. So it's just that kind of thing of like, sorry, I'm going to be very ADHD with a lot of this stuff, but managing like Maya Jane Coles, or I was managing Taylor Buss that birthed Anima, or artists that I'm managing now like Emily Nash and SYREETA and Bradley Skeng. Like, you might not even be able to always tell from the music, but as people, as artists, they are a bit just weird and wonderful as people. And like Emily, who she wrote Dior for MK and produced it. She, like, you think she's quite normal, but actually when you kind of get into her mind, it's amazing. And she makes a lot of different music that sometimes people don't realize. Like she makes techno and drum and bass and dubstep and pop and house, and like she's 24 and was the second youngest woman to ever produce a UK #1.
Yeah,
so like
that.
You can't be entirely like normal. And do
so
that.
you quite like.
I like bringing it out of them. as well.
You like working with people that are quite creatively diverse and different, and just they're working in this industry, in this scene, but their path is a bit more different, interesting.
Yeah. Well, I get bored otherwise, if I'm honest. Like I need to be able to hyper focus on an artist, and so they just need to have something that's interesting. Like when someone's like, oh, I just want to be famous, that doesn't work for me. It's not really interesting. And I've definitely said no to quite a lot of big money clients over the years because it just didn't interest me.
Yeah.
I should be a lot richer than I am, but I'm not.
That's the industry, right? Though, if you're doing it for specific reasons, and you're doing it because you're following those interests.
Do it for love and passion.
You're doing it for love and
don't
passion.
get me wrong. I live in a house that's nicer than the one I got brought up in. Like, no shade to my mum, but like that to me is my barometer of like success or whatever.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like being happy, I have managed artists that I'd managed just because everyone was like, "Oh, you need to manage them because, the heads of CAA and William Morris and Live Nation are saying like, you need to manage these. Don't be silly."
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work for me, really. Like, I often wake up just like not being happy about life because I'm like it's so.
If you're chasing it for the wrong reasons, right?
Like management is so encompassing. Like it's a lifestyle, like working in the music industry. So it's like you don't have that kind of clock in, clock out, really.
Yeah.
So if you don't like them or the person's a bit of a pain or
100%.
whatever, it's just not worth the paycheck. To me, I
agree.
Some people can separate like work and business. I'm not very good at that.
I agree. I think once you're in the music industry, in the creative world, I think there's, even if people are chasing it for fame or money, there's still got to be that underlying real love and raw passion for it. And I've worked in artist management a bit, and I say to people, I'll be honest, it's kind of like family. It's like kids. It's like having kids. You've got to be like fully invested. You've got to have a connection with them because you are literally like working with them to completely manifest and look after their lives, their visions. So there has to be that, doesn't it? There has to be that connection. Yeah,
totally. I mean, like, and I've been so blessed, like managing in my start of my career, like Nadine Shah, who got nominated later for a Mercury, or Tricky, who's like icon of icons, like, or My Jane Cole's, like Maya, for instance, made every sound herself, engineered it, mixed it, the artwork herself, made videos herself, like proper polymath.
Yeah,
so
she's a real creative artist, like she, the full
unreal, like proper. This is her world. This is what it looks like visually, sonically, been sampled by everyone from Lil Drake. What am I talking about? Drake to Lil Wayne to Katy Perry and stuff. Like once you've had that, it's very hard to go and say like work with someone who like has a ghost producer.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, oh, it's a bit gross. And then like have an interview. So they're like, this is how the idea for this song came out. No, it didn't. You bought it. And I personally can't do that.
I hear you.
And it used to annoy me because like people would go, oh, so who really produces Maya? And I'm like, Maya produces loads of the people that you listen to that you don't even realize that she produced.
Yeah. It's interesting. And you've got to do what's right for you, what feeds you, what gives you that passion, so you can give your best to them, right?
Oh, totally. So when you only get one life, so it's like, why live it? Like, I'd rather be poorer. Obviously, you have to pay your bills, but like, I'd rather be poorer and happy than rich and miserable. Like every time, doesn't work for me personally.
See, that's a really respectful trait to have. Is that something you've always had your whole life, do you think?
I wish I didn't. I wish I could just be really happy and just like...
just chase the money.
But I am... But I'm not, and that's my lot in life. And I wake up and I enjoyed life. So that's great. And same why doing HE.SHE.THEY is like... had to do some stuff that was good for the soul and the...
Let's talk about that, actually. We'll come back to artist management. So
Sorry, anyone who's watching this who isn't neurospicy. This is going to be
we're going to go around the houses, but it's good. We're covering a lot. That's what this is about, digging deep, right? Now, so on that journey of working through the industry, you're doing everything from promoting, you're working in brands and magazines. When did the birth of HE.SHE.THEY actually start?
HE.SHE.THEY was just before ish lockdown, where Sophia, who's my business partner, Sophia Kearney, just won Manager of the Year at the FEM House Awards. Big up, Sophia.
Oh, massive respect, Sophia.
Oh, she's incredible. She's incredible human and professional. So we were just like, oh, let's go and do something in fashion. So HE.SHE.THEY was going to be a like fashion brand, and then we'd market it by throwing cool parties. And then lockdown happened. All of our clothes that we were gonna have. So we launched originally on the official schedule of London Fashion Week.
Right.
And then all these buyers from like Nordstrom's and Saks came and they loved it. And like we'd done a party with Harpies, which is like a LGBTQIA plus strip club. And it was sick. It was like on 4 floors. It was like proper raucous, like party. Because this is the thing, like you can have like diversity, inclusion, and consent and all these things, and it doesn't need to be dry. It can be really weird and fun and all the things. It's just not homophobic or transphobic or racist or like
Yeah.
it's not. It's I find it weird when people think those two things can't be like
Can't go
hand in hand.
Yeah.
That like somehow everything needs to be really sanitized. It's like no. We can just like.
That's an interesting way to think about it, actually. I think maybe
Have you ever gone on a night out and gone like, oh, it was such a good night out, but like, it just wasn't misogynistic enough.
I know what you mean.
There just wasn't enough racism. Do you know what I mean? It's so stupid to think of that as a night out. It's
totally.
like, so just having those house rules up. Anyway, so I'm
I
gonna
get where you're coming from, right?
yeah, I'm gonna try and rein myself in. It's my new thing for 2026 to not veer off. But yeah, so all of our clothes, so we had this party, really successful, got orders in, and then our clothes got stuck in a factory up north in England, and no one could get to it. No one could legally go in and out of the building for like 18 months.
No.
We lost all our orders, la la la. But the good thing about lockdown was we didn't have to try and sell tickets. So actually, we could really post about anything that we wanted social activism wise. Black Lives Matter, Me Too, Stop Asian Hate, and all these different movements that meant something to us and our community, because we weren't selling anything. So it's just like the channel was just for that. So actually it was really nice to have and build this like community that was really, really value based. Like when we throw parties, we've had anyone from Honey Dijon to Sarah Landry, like musically, and like Richie Houghton, like it's very disparate. But actually, there's lots of the same people show up to everything, like in the different cities around the world, because it's actually as much as it's the music, because the music is like the long as it's good house or good techno.
Yeah.
People just kind of want to come and be part of just like something that's fun and edgy but nice at the heart of it.
So did you realize you was building something that was actually becoming a community as a kind of brand?
Yeah, just because you're getting messages from people, and it's been really nice because like, I mean, in lockdown, lost a lot of money because of trying the fashion thing in it.
Yeah.
But also like as a manager, I earn 20% of what an artist makes. So if the artists don't make really any money, because most of the artists realistically make money from live is the main point of monetization in the underground rather than streams. So, and people aren't really buying music at Beatport because where they're playing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It was a crazy time, wasn't it?
Yeah, just like if something got on Peloton, it would do well. But like we hadn't launched the label side of HE.SHE.THEY yet either. So probably lost, because also I had people who owed me money that went bankrupt. So I probably lost like 6 figures.
Wow.
It was not fun.
Wow. So did you then sort of
being in your bedroom and then having these people having these life affirming messages to you?
Yeah.
Was really amazing. And what I also realized was that like this is the way that we can connect someone from like Peru in Lima or like with somebody else in Sydney, Australia, and like how cool the online thing was, and not having a paywall for just being able to highlight people in the community, and like it was just really nice. Like HE.SHE.THEY, if we ran it more like a business, we'd make more money. But it's like it's so satisfying to do what we've done. We were in 25 countries now, done takeovers of like Coachella, Glastonbury, Creamfields, Capaficha. Like we have like Creamfields, Chile. It's like 10,000 capacity stage. It's like it's so wild to to see that happen. And it's funny because people are like, how come you got Coachella, or how come you got an Amnesia residency for 3 years, or how come your third gig was at Pasha or whatever? Yes, obviously we'd made money with managing who we'd managed, but a lot of it was just asking. Like, feel like, oh, how did you get Coachella? We asked. We were like, this is the concept. This is what we want to do, and send an email away. And then, like, I maybe send 100 emails, 5 of them end up coming to fruition. But you have to send this is like a thing, I think, for new artists and everyone. Be it new tracks that you send to people, be it whatever. You can't get disheartened. If you want to remix different people, especially when you're starting, like, there's a lot of labor for free. I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh no, you shouldn't ever work for free.
Yeah.
Like, I worked for free personally. Like going flipping all the way back to the uni stuff. There was a guy called Michael Morley who's amazing, who signed Daft Punk and what else did he sign? I mean, you could just stop there, like,
Yeah.
but MIA, Knit and Sony, Vampire Weekend, all these like amazing artists that are left of center, but do well, which is kind of what's imprinted in my mind. And he's like, and he was the first person ever to say, like, oh, you don't need every other A&R person to like what you like. You just need to be in the room thinking, would I buy a ticket to this? Would I listen to it at home?
Yeah.
If you answer those for yourselves, there's probably, you can extrapolate it that other people would too. But I wanted to work with him, and there was no job and there was no money. So I just was like, oh, you don't have a scout in the north of England, do you? Right, I'll be your music scout. And then when I went to Australia, to go and be occupational psychologist with different companies when I was traveling with my girlfriend, so a long time ago, because I'm a massive gay now. Yeah, like,
This journey's gone everywhere for you, isn't
I'm
it?
a mess, but a curated mess.
Yeah, I like it.
But so I was like, okay, well, have you got anyone in Australia? No, all right, cool. Then I'll be the Australia guy. And then there was still no job when I came back from Australia. But then I found a band that he liked, and he's like, I will sign that band. They don't have a manager. You should manage the band because you understand them. They like you, and that's how I got into management.
Wow.
So that working for free ended up being 20% of like a 6-figure deal, which I found that band after 4 gigs, and it was like they got signed to Columbia later, all these things.
See, that's
but
it's really interesting you're talking about that, because it is something which I've seen come up in conversation recently as well.
The working for free
about working for free, and in general, and the bigger, not just in our sort of more dance music specific, but as generally in the music industry, it's been something that's been publicised and talked about a lot, saying about like unpaid internships and stuff. And I think I agree.
I mean, there's a problem with it. To some level. I mean, like, I slept on sofas and everything for probably the first 2 years of living in London. Like, I remember going to meet Beyonce, because I managed an artist that did something with Beyonce, and like being with her, it's a mad hedge fund owner's house during the day, and then coming back and sleeping on the basement of my brother's student house.
Yeah,
and the absolute disconnect between those.
Right.
Those
and the thing is, this is the way it's been. But this is the way it's been for years, right? The industry. I mean, let's even go broader in showbiz, right? It's always been a bit like this, and I think it's amazing where we are now culturally and how we look at things and say what's right, what's wrong, what things should be discussed, what things should be actually, should we be looking at. But at the same time, things like that, it's always been like, it's kind of part of it, isn't it? It's always been part of the scene. If you want to get somewhere, you've got to hustle, right?
Part of hustling,
hustle.
I mean, hustle the whole time, being an entrepreneur. And like, to be fair, it wasn't like someone had said, here's a job, work for free.
Yeah.
I was creating spaces that didn't exist. Or like Maya, when she first started, I got her to remix Ellie Goulding, Massive Attack, and Gorillaz, and they were all for free at first. And then actually Gorillaz and Massive Attack loved them so much that they ended up paying her for them. Even like Maya's remix when she was in She Is Danger is on the Heligoland Massive Attack album. The remix is amazing of that. And then Gorillaz, I think she did Up on Melancholy Hill, and like also Damon was like, here's just some money. But like that then allowed her later on to go and remix everyone from like Bonobo to Sam Smith to Dua Lipa to Ella Fitzgerald to Florence and the Machine, the XX, like Little Dragon, like everybody. She's done so many remixes, but because she had that first Powerful 3, when I then went to go as a manager and was like to Universal Warner's for the next one, oh, who's she remixed? Well, she's remixed Massive Attack and Gorillaz and Ellie Goulding. She's not working for free anymore. Like, pay her. And like, you know, Maya's had very, very chunky remix fees, like because of building that business. So it's like, I think
it's creating opportunities yourself in a way.
Yeah, if it's intentional, like I think it's really important to like don't just work for free just to be exploited, but like if you know why you're doing it. Like I wanted to work with Michael Morley, and if he'd had money, he would have given us it, but he didn't. And like it was more important to have worked with him because then you get those names attached to your CV. Like there has to be a point where you pay your bills.
Yeah.
Like there has to, where you have to get off the couch or whatever. But I was fully determined to do that. But then I also knew that I had the safety of having a master's degree, that if it all went wrong, I did have a fallback. So I do believe in getting your education.
Yeah, and having something to fall back on. But you know, there's a lot said to be for taking risks.
Yeah,
and I suppose everyone's in different situations.
Well, also risk.
People have to accept.
I don't have kids or anything.
That's what I was about to say. So some people have to accept they can't do certain things if they've already got a big mortgage or they've already got kids. There's ways you're going to have to do it, but I think
you're up against all the trust fund kids that can work in London for 6 months because they live at home for free. So it's like, again, it's not ideal, and I don't think necessarily that people should advertise jobs for free. If there's like, if you get me, so like, like we don't make people work for free at HE.SHE.THEY, but like if someone had offered, oh, I'm gonna do this thing that you can't afford to do, and we're not going to do it anyway. But you know, if there's an upside later on,
totally,
we all share. Then that's different.
No, I respect that. I still have people. We have people now that come to the label and stuff and say stuff like this and say, oh, look, have you got someone that represents you here in this state, in the US? Like, I'd love to do this. I'd love to do that. And I've always respected it, whether it's something we've moved forward or not. I'm like, this is the sort of stuff you need to do. You need to put yourself out
100%.
And you've got to offer it. Try to create opportunities. It's great. So, like, when did it first start with actually doing events with it, with HE.SHE.THEY? Like, when was the first
events
time you
was,
went, okay?
So just before lockdown, because we'd launched a fashion week, and then we did like Watergate, Pasha, Ministry, because our thing was to make spaces that aren't particularly diverse, but the clubs are good, more diverse, rather than like just going to like the Cause or Fold and making something that's already diverse.
A venue that's already known for that sort of thing, yeah.
Which was like, because that was more the mission.
Try and make. I suppose that makes it more commercially seen, right, and actually noted as well. With
no,
so you're not just pushing it within a scene that's already existing. Let's try and bring it out.
Well, that's it. Well, like you're not going to change anything by just like like, oh, we ran a party for diversity in East London. Like, well done.
Yeah.
Like here's the 19th party like that. So it's more like when we go to Newcastle or Estonia or Lithuania or somewhere like that, and change is like the thing that's more interesting. But also I wanted to kind of show people that like diversity isn't this like problem that needs to be endured. It's like show the commercial like appeal to it, because I'm a pragmatist. Like I want social change, but I know that social change often comes when there's a financial argument for it. So like just explain to people, like, putting Honey Dijon and Maya Jane Coles on a lineup, you're actually getting black representation, Asian representation, female representation, queer representation, trans representation, like in this intersectionality. And no one's going like, oh, they can't do it, they're like a diversity hire. It's like that sells tickets. And explaining, if you give people the same opportunities, you can build the next lot of people. And I think from managing Maya at a time where Maya is a queer mixed race Asian girl was not what the industry was asking for, but she was so good that I just realized if you can just, something's just really good, you can actually like, the doors will open. And then she opened the door for a lot of other people to kind of do well. But like for instance, when we do lineups, it's just like, you know, we book Richie Horton, Eats Everything, Ben Clock, Fiac, like Ewan McVicker, Over Mono did it. It's not like we don't book straight white men. I don't think straight white men are the enemy. I used to be one. Like so like my best friend is half Iranian. Like like there should be a club where me as a white queer guy and him as a straight Iranian dude can go where no one's like an ally or no one's, we're just two people that exist.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what clubbing was when I first started.
Yeah,
so really
100%.
we're just going back to the original thing of what dance music was like, rather than like reinventing the wheel. There's loads of people like, oh, HE.SHE.THEY, it's so radical. I'm like, no, it's not. It's like, it's a really low bar to say, come to a club night and not be ableist or homophobic or transphobic or racist or whatever. So like, but what we've shown is to people as well, if you go and diversify who's behind the decks, and the dancers are like different body shapes and sizes and genders, so it's not like straight clubs, it tend to be like, oh, there's like 3 male DJs and like women dancers, and gay clubs are 3 male DJs and male dancers. It's all for like either the straight male gays or the queer male gays. It's like, well, of course, that's why the majority of people who go to those nights are men. But if you mix it up so that there's like a black woman, straight white guy, like mixed race person, whatever, like not in a kind of countdown like, oh, I have 3 black people, 2 white people, and 1 from anywhere else. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's based on talent, but like talent falls very naturally amongst all groups. So having that, if someone's in that club who is black or a woman or a straight white dude or whatever, they can see someone on the lineup and go, there's some different touch points that are like me. I'm not just allowed in this space, like I'm welcome into this space, which is different. Like,
well, that's like you said, that's what club culture was at the start.
Of course
it was kind of
and I'm old enough to remember it from going out at 14.
I mean? And even if we go back to, you know, when house music first began, that's kind of what it was. It was a sort of revolution against the system and trying to make people feel inclusion and people that felt socially discriminated against or singled out. And that's what it was. People coming together but not thinking about anything. And I think in that time of commercial success of clubbing and club culture in general, you're spreading that and still concentrating on that core thing of what it's about to make everyone feel included.
100%.
I think it's massively respectful, like what you do. And
we were saying like, but that also, it brings in different types of people. So you're not fighting for the same eyeballs and ticket money every Saturday or Friday night from the same audience. So like having these different audience buy-in. So when people realize that, they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then, so because of that, that's how we've been able to do well. But I mean, I've been lucky enough to be invited at IMS, which is the International Music Summit in Ibiza. So I'm doing the opening keynote speech.
Amazing.
And a big part of that is like just discussing how it's mad that we praise like the architects of the scene, like, you know, like your Larry Levans and Paradise Garage, the warehouse in Chicago, that we go and like give our love to like Frankie Knuckles and Kerry Chandler and all these people as we should. But then we lock the kind of descendants of the architects out. So it's the hardest to get booked if you're a black or brown young artist, especially if you're queer. And you're like, how do we get to that bit? And it's like, and you can't just be like, you can't just get praise to those and then not bring up the next generation of people.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's one of the things that HE is maybe different of like, it is about inclusion. It's about making sure that the straight white dudes aren't disenfranchised. Because I also think that, growing up in Sunderland and whatever, the class is a big barrier. Like, I think probably because I'm like, I hate the term straight acting, but like people like sometimes think I'm straight until I start talking about willies. But like, I'm allowed in a lot of these different rooms that maybe other people that are more effeminate get locked out of.
Right.
And that I've kind of been able to use that slight privilege to open the door and to get.
Yeah, to help represent. So before we continue, if you're watching this podcast, you're probably a dance music producer trying to break through. And that's exactly why we created the Torum Academy Production Certificate course. It's an online program that certainly changed the game in house music education. Over 3 months, we write a track together to a professional level. You receive professional A&R feedback and technical feedback along the way every single week. And you'll join a really supportive, genuine community of like-minded producers as well. Our students have gone on to get signed to labels like Torum, Armada, Spinning, Nervous, Solid Grooves. They've started DJing in boiler rooms and touring internationally. If that sounds like the next step for you, check out torumacademy.com for more info. In a sense, it's become the word brand. HE.SHE.THEY has become like a brand.
Yeah,
like,
no, totally
as a
has.
thing, you know. And do you think, is that something that you've learned a lot previously?
Oh, sorry. That was where my point was going to be.
Okay.
That that I actually think because I pass as more straight, the class and my accent, my proper accent's like that if I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
And nobody believes I have a master's degree when I've got that voice, which is stupid because why would a voice make you not smart or whatever? But that's
humans,
why
as humans, we sometimes assume
we
without even
code
realising
switch
it.
and I have to battle all these stereotypes. But I realized that class was probably the thing that knocked me out of certain rooms more so than being queer.
Right.
There was certain things that definitely, like, I've been in meetings where the old boss was like, oh, this person's a bit homophobic, we're going to send in X instead of you because it's not going to do a deal with you. So, okay.
Right.
Whatever. But like, and I remember who those people are. I mean, but that was my thing of why I don't want to alienate straight white guys along stuff, because like my brother's a straight white guy and has been on pride marches and advocates for people's rights. So like, why he's not the enemy.
Yeah.
Like, so that's a big thing for us where like it's about raising everyone along. And
it's not just about this separate mission that is trying to do things. You're trying to bring everything aware together.
Because that's what then starts this clash online of like, oh, well, why am I excluded or whatever? And it's like, I think it's really important that there are some safe spaces where like you're a black trans woman, right? You might not want to go to a club, especially in the kind of temperature that the world is in, where you feel vulnerable, or when you're being presented as a, say, a woman or a trans man or non-binary for the first time. So you want to be a slightly cocoon space.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the exotic one, and you don't want to answer the first 10 questions, and you want to know you can go to the bathroom and not have to think about it. But there's no reason that a black trans woman wouldn't also be best friends with a straight white guy.
Yeah.
And therefore it's really important to have spaces for that black trans woman that like aren't just ghettoizing them in the safe space.
Yeah.
They should be able to go to Fabric or Creamfields or wherever and feel safe.
Yeah.
Just as much as anyone else should. So that's kind of...
So you're just fighting. You're fighting and campaigning for just general inclusivity.
Just nice people being able to be nice. Yeah. And like, also, I think the best way to get social harmony inclusion is, and this is what I found with the dance floor for me, even from coming from Sunderland, you set off with this things, like you have to unlearn a lot of stuff, and you meet different people who challenge your stereotypes of what people are, because unless you've ever, say, met a black trans woman, maybe your only knowledge of black trans people is headlines in the Daily Mail or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like same for asylum seekers or whatever. So they don't have a humanity. And then when you meet people, you're like, oh, you're just like me.
Yeah.
And it's this beautiful human experience. Or like, you know, like, especially back in the day, not to be that guy, back in the day, But like, I used to love it when a track dropped, and when I used to go Gatecrasher a lot, and it just didn't matter. It was like United because of Benetton advert, and people would like, same with Manumission, like people would just be euphoric and just hug people and be best friends with people that you're still friends with now, and like it showed that thing can work.
100%. I even have memories of being, back again. Don't want to be that guy saying that, but going to raves
because it was really nice.
Totally. Like, and I used to go to like your Helter-Skelters and these sort of raves, and there was a real segregation between like the sort of drum and bass and jungle arena and the hardcore and the happy hardcore arena. Yeah. And then there was an event one time they did it, and they literally put someone like Dougal on straight after Hype. And I remember sort of coming in like from the hardcore, and there was this room, and I was like, "Oh, this feels a bit heavy," like drum and bass going on. And the next thing I know, there's like some people from drum and bass and these black guys, and they're going absolutely mad. And suddenly we're hugging when the hardcore come on. We're now best friends and chatting.
Yeah,
it's like
a great leveler of people music.
Totally, and that's for me as someone who was really young in teens, wasn't even able to be there, but like that was a real eye opener for me of going, okay, why did I need to feel that fear or that uncertainty of going in that room, and this is different. And then, but actually, it was just all.
You lose it for the rest of your life. You're like, okay, like
totally. It was just melted away at that moment of that. And we were for that night. I've suddenly got a new best friend who I thought, well, previously I think would we mix? Because you're into drum and bass and jungle. Not I didn't like it, but I'm
but it's like a tribalism that went on.
Yeah, totally. So it's amazing, man. It's amazing. Like, let's talk a bit more about management, even though you started talking about that at the start a little bit more. No, it's good. It's good. I want to talk a little bit about that and get some things that you think are like.
Yeah, let's actually try and help people now.
Yeah, and reasons why you think like some of these artists that you've worked with, because you've worked with some amazing artists. Some of the stories you've given us already are amazing. There's some really valuable points. Like, what do you think? What separates artists from those who last, like longevity, to those who might fade out, like people that you've worked with? Do you think
so? Longevity, I think, is an easy one. I think it's like just staying true to an idea of who you are, and like a Bjork. Like I managed my Jane Cole's like she was Bjork or PJ Harvey. It's like not as a DJ, but as an artist. It's like Maya's going to build my Jane Cole's land, and if you want to pop in and out of it on this album or this EP or whatever, cool. But she's just going to create art that she likes, and you're invited to consume it.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many people who like, oh, I'm listening to the radio, I've got to do this, I've got to do that today, which can spike you up, but it doesn't last. And that's not to say that you can't make music that is of the time
sort of thing. Yeah.
If it comes from your heart and you want to make it, cool.
But don't compromise on your art.
Or go and do that in a different moniker and an alias, and like, all right, I'm making this song to go and hit this market. Yeah, fine, whatever.
And do you think you've got to realize as well that there will be peaks and troughs of what you do,
100%.
Especially when you stay consistent. You're not always going to be really in vogue, or do you know what I mean? There's going to be times. I think that's what a lot of new artists need to really realize.
And managers and labels and club nights and everything. It's like you kind of you have to evolve, but like evolve in a way that feels kind of natural to you. But like this constant, like, especially if you're trying to do an album and people try and do albums that sound like albums that are successful right now. Yeah, probably going to be a year till the album comes out. And then whatever you're listening to now will sound dated. So it's like, just you are the only person who can create like you in that self-referential kind of way. So like, it's different if you maybe just pop off a single.
No, I get it. So don't compromise too much.
But then a lot of the people who just make singles that do well tend to just kind of have 6 people on a writing team, and it's a more, not always,
it can often be a more commercial approach, can't it?
Yeah,
like that, compared to what we'd say is more sitting in the underground.
I mean, it's different. You have Fred Again's and Calvin Harris's and people like that, or Sarah Landry's that make their tunes themselves that are big. But like, it's.
I hear you. What do you think are the biggest misconceptions about new artists and management? Because I sometimes see it with new artists and they think, oh, I need a manager, and I think they almost feel like by getting a manager, it's a thing that happens and it suddenly changes and elevates it.
It can do, and it, like, you just got to be like know that it's not a magic wand. You need to know that as an artist, you still have to keep hustling yourself.
Yeah.
But there's a woman, bless her, called Mona who was a company called Violet, who's passed, who was Missy Elliott's manager, and her adage was, she'll never work harder for an artist than an artist will work for themselves. And I think it's really important. I have done it where I've worked harder for the artist than the artist has, and the wheels always fall off.
Right.
Like, you have to be working with people that are so driven themselves and making like these moments, because otherwise you're giving all your control for all your dreams to just someone else, and it doesn't always work. But then also, like, with the manager, you can only manage stuff where there's stuff to manage.
Yeah.
Like, and also certain things take time. Like, you can't go and get a manager and then suddenly be playing 10,000, it's like capacity stadium, because 10,000 people don't know who you are. And if you go and put a really big venue on sale, it'll look shit.
Yeah.
Because people won't go, and it'll knock you down. So it's also like, it's a good thing to have a manager, and like having like a friend or someone who helps guide you and can create some of those, like, oh, I can get you a gig here or a remix here or whatever. But to keep the momentum up, like, there's definitely been artists where I've helped them start, but then they haven't kind of kicked in.
Yeah.
It's almost like chick out the nest. It's like,
Yeah.
throw them out there. All right, but now you have to fly.
They've got to drive it, haven't they?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
artists
yeah,
have to
yeah.
drive it and share their vision to you. It's almost
Like socials, all these different things.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
actually think Mark said something similar once when he said, like, the artist is the one who should be sort of chasing and checking up with the manager and saying, I've got this vision, or I want to do,
yeah.
rather than the other way around. And I think some new artists might feel like the manager is the one that just sort of goes, right, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this. Whereas it almost needs to be
like you can say, like, oh, this is like for instance, managing Maya, just as a case in point, but because she was an artist with clear vision for herself.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I was like, who do you want to be able to work with? Oh, well, anyone from Bjork to, actually, like, I want to be able to produce anyone from Bjork to Beyonce. Cool. There's my guardrails. There's my parameters. And then Emily Nash has got she wants to make tech house, but she also wants to do these other genres. And then, like, okay, I know who she is. And like Bradley Skeng is a newer guy who I took on when I wasn't going to take on new people, but he has a great idea of, like, okay, I'm everything from house to garage, and I used to make grime beats. So I want to put that sound in, and
Yeah.
like, if then, like, eventually when he gets big, he wants to run a soup kitchen for the homeless and like all these different things.
Wow.
I'm like, all right, cool. So I know that you'll be up for charity stuff and be up for doing this, and like the easier it is when people tell me, like, what their reference points are, what the labels they want to be on, and have those ideas, you can focus in on something. And if I know where you want to go and be at in 10 years, I can work backwards and get you there.
Yeah.
If it's like, I want to be famous, like, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah.
I want to be successful. Yeah. Like, success is different for different people. Like, it used to irritate me where managers would come up to me about Maya and be like, oh, you could do this and this with her. And I'm like, she doesn't want to do it. Like, I'm not dumb. Like,
Yeah.
I know how the world works. Like, Maya turned down producing 6 Lady Gaga tracks. It's not like
Wow.
I couldn't get the opportunities or she couldn't get the opportunities. She just didn't want to do it. Fine. Like, because success to her doesn't look like producing Lady Gaga. Now, if it had been Janelle Monáe or Erykah Badu, then maybe she would have done them.
Yeah.
But like this is the thing. Would she have been happy? Would she have cared? Would she have probably wanted the songs to go out with her production name?
Yeah.
Like, no. So like, success isn't just platinum discs on a
Yeah.
wall and money, like, for different people. And if that is what you want to do, that's also fine. But just like, know that also that will lock you out of other rooms.
Yeah.
Because I know quite a few artists that are like, they're big, but they're like, oh, I don't actually get to do the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
And then I'm often like, well, like, ask for less money, like, go create an alias. And they're like, oh no. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. No,
You don't want to do it that much.
I respect that. Maya, do you reckon we could ask if we could if there's any chance of extending?
Yeah,
It's gone so quick,
I
but
know,
I just find out if they've got
54 minutes so far.
find out if they've got anyone after, and if not, we
It's
just
like 15 minutes or something.
yeah, and we'll obviously
Until they
pay
kick
for
us
it.
out.
Yeah, until they kick us out. Just be good to find out, because otherwise it's flown by,
No, of course.
and
Right,
I feel like I really want to talk more
let's keep going.
about more stuff. I really want to get into more stuff. So,
Of course.
all right, we're talking about artist management. I want to talk a bit about the industry as well, because obviously you do a lot in the industry, and I think this relates a lot to something that we talk about a lot with new artists and people in the industry in general, is networking, and how big a part of networking it is. Now, you've worked really closely with some big industry organisations, NTIA, AFEM,
MMF,
you know,
Music Managers Forum, not a naughty internet search.
and that's not wrestling. That's not wrestling either. But these organisations, play a huge role in the music scene, in overseeing, developing things, and you've
Well, I think that's a big thing, especially as a manager. Like my job should be to create networks and like know everyone. And I always think that's like my job, and my biggest value is my black book. And that probably becomes from imposter syndrome of being like coming from the Northeast, realizing that at the time it's better now, but at the time no one really cared about what I did in like the Northeast. Like me and my old promoter partner Fred, we'd created like this night called Spun. That was one of NME's like student nights of the year.
wow.
And like it was more indie-ish actually, that one. But they came down, and it was more the working for Michael Morley and things like that people cared about. And then I would go on nights out with him, and then he would introduce me to people, and like, but I was out a lot. And this was the time as well where in London there was a good Tuesday night to go out to, like White Heat at Madame Jojo's. There was another bar, another kitchen on a Thursday night in Camden. It was like all these things. But also I built my own club nights, because I was like, how do I get to know people? Okay, well, I'll do these like small club nights. So we started doing like 93 Feet East back in the day.
Okay, yeah.
I did a very naughty thing where because there was like all the secret warehouse parties and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, hustle, right? Fake it before you make it. I am one of my business partners. We kept saying that we looked after this like club night, which didn't exist, right? And then loads of people were like, "Oh yeah, I've been there." And then you start hearing people talk about this club night, saying that they were there at this thing that's like proper Emperor's New Clothes that didn't exist. And they're like, "Right, we should make the thing happen somewhere." And then everyone wanted to go to this night called Who the Fuck Said Dance Was Dead, because
that was the fake.
Yeah, that was the fake night that then
love it.
became real, and like it was just this weird thing that then because we were like, oh, we've done the marketing for ourselves, and everyone wants to prove that they knew the branding was there, and it was just like, okay, so lean into this instinct of like humans to want to be at the cool thing.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh, we don't have loads of money, so we just need to pick whoever the movers and shakers are to come and play for us, because we'll meet their networks and their networks and their networks. So it's the thing, if the thing that you want to do doesn't exist, create it. Like, you can't just wait around for something to happen. Like if you can't get a release on any label, eventually like create your own label, create your own club night where, like, say for instance, there wasn't a tech house scene in wherever you were, for argument's sake, just tech house. Go create it, and then go and find out the tech house club that's in Newcastle and the one in Glasgow and the one in whatever, and then be like, look, do you want to come play for me if I can play for you?
Yeah.
And then you start creating this like network of things. Then you've gone and I played in Glasgow and Newcastle and whatever for this brand. And
that becomes a springboard for something, and then that becomes a springboard for something.
100%.
Because that sounds to me like already like your career, it's been so varied. There's so much we've not even touched on, but a lot of other opportunities have probably come from prior networking.
Everything springs up from different things, or like there's a collective that I've been helping in Newcastle just because they're lovely lads and I want to give something back. There's a guy called Sonny Tate, and he has a thing called Foundations Newcastle, But those guys, because they're not trust fund kids, it's like 5 or 6 of them run the night. They can all club together to go and get like a bigger DJ that they've then supported as well. So the more DJs that you come and book for you, the more DJs you've then supported. So then the biog then becomes like, I played at say like Sub Club in Glasgow, and I played at World Headquarters in Newcastle, and I played in Kitchen Street in Liverpool, and I've supported X, Y, and Z thing. Now, and I played for this, and this night. Then you've got a biog that people start looking to, and to me, it's always about getting the first 3 down, because once you've got like 3, like if I came to him and I played Kitchen Street Sub Club in World Headquarters, you're like, okay, that person is a proper DJ.
Yeah.
Or if you're like,
there's a resume, there's a CV of something.
You supported Shanty Celeste and Freddie K and SYREETA.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're not like, oh, and who else?
Yeah, totally.
You like, it can just stop there. So it's just like doing those things, or like playing a festival for like you know, with Tomorrowlands or different things like that, where we've sometimes put artists on right at the starting some like, you know, shitty stage where no one's going to come see them. The thing that lives on the biog is Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
No one's, when they're like,
totally.
see Tomorrowland on a biog, they're like, but where did they play?
Yeah, totally. And you've got to start somewhere, right?
You have to start somewhere.
So before we continue, if you're watching this podcast, you're probably a dance music producer trying to break through. And that's exactly why we created the Toolroom Academy Production Certificate course. It's an online program that certainly changed the game in house music education. Over 3 months, we write a track together to a professional level. You receive professional A&R feedback and technical feedback along the way every single week. And you'll join a really supportive, genuine community of like-minded producers as well. Our students have gone on to get signed to labels like Toolroom, Armada, Spinning, Nervous, Solid Grooves. They've started DJing in boiler rooms and touring internationally. If that sounds like the next step for you, check out toolroomacademy.com for more info. The local town I grew up in, there wasn't really a great house night. I went to a commercial club that wasn't doing well and said, can I do something?
Exactly this though.
I used to print posters out on Word and just put Ibiza Club Classics. And I remember I used to use masking tape and put them on all the shop windows up the high street that was closed. And to get people in from the pubs. And then even when the night had finished, I'd go and take them all down so I didn't get in trouble. And then it started building, and we did a guest.
That guerrilla thing is really important.
And then we booked a guest that wasn't really that known, but they had played, I can't remember what it was. Somewhere like they'd done a warm-up set in HE.SHE.THEY. So we wrote all over the flyer, Ibiza, HE.SHE.THEY. All the local people came, didn't really know who he was, but it created hype. And then you build the next night and the next night. It's the same thing.
And they become bigger as well. Yeah. These artists, like, a lot of the times if you get in early and you know they're good, like we did.
Because the people you often work with.
Yeah, we did.
You end up moving together, right?
First America play. You know, Kiki's fucking 2 10,000 cap shows at ADE. Like Sarah Landry, we made her a headliner early on, and then bless her, she cut us a deal on a couple of things because she's like, you backed us at the start. Now, not every artist will do that, but a lot of artists will remember who helped them. And like you said, like if one rises, we all rise.
So networking is super key, right? It's something that, and you're talking at like even at that grassroots level, start something. Don't be intimidated by the bigger side of it, you know? The
bigger thing, like Ennis and Dennis Menendez brothers, Jody who books at High on Ushuaia, George who was director of events at Defected, where like all these different people, all of us, we're all in this big group that none of us, when we were started in that big group, were doing what we're doing now.
Of course.
But when one of us rose, the other ones would go and help that person and this, and like, even if it's like, we have like groups chats of like, oh, we're doing this, like, oh, can you comment on this, like, can you go and support this, can you post about this, like, us all helping each other. We've never lost that spirit because none of us were born into that industry. Like when I met Ennis and Dennis at first, like Ennis now has 77 in like London, the Sick Club, and like and books Mass Tiempo and all these things. Dennis does a million different booking jobs as well. But when I met Dennis was rehousing homeless people, and Ennis was working on a building site, like just after finishing his degree. And they've gone and absolutely smashed life, because those guys in particular do a lot of really selfless things for people, and they don't expect anything back. But because they've got that attitude,
Yeah.
people then go and help them. So it's like this. It's nice to be nice, and I
That's
don't
important,
see
though,
it
what you're
as a
talking about.
weakness.
I think
Some
that's
people do.
important. Like to give back as well, like network, but what can you contribute as well?
Yeah.
Like what can you contribute towards what you're passionate about, the scene? I think that's really important.
It's why I go back and talk to like.
So now you're working with these
groups
big
and things.
organisations, like you said, you know, talking, opening at IMS.
Yeah.
And
But then I'll also go and talk to like
organisations to help.
disadvantaged kids somewhere. It's like they need to know that you can come from an
Yeah.
estate and do well. You can be queer and do well. You can be all those things, and like you know, maybe that ends up being that person in the audience. I've had it before actually. That person in the audience is then ended up being somebody. And oh, I remember you coming and talking, and like you probably had the same thing, where you're like in a club and like you've given someone 10 minutes of your time, not really thinking much of it, but it's made the absolute world to them. So talking about SYREETA, there's this woman called Miss Bisto, who was her real name's Claire Brennan. Actually, she got it. That was one of Incarnation's name. Anyway, she just took the time when I was like some little 16-year-old kid, and just schooled me on some stuff, like 20-minute chat in a club, and it totally changed the trajectory of my life.
Yeah.
And I'll still go back to her and she's like, no, like you made you made your life and your career. And I'm like, it wouldn't have happened without that moment.
Yeah.
So I'm always mindful of giving that back to someone else. But the amount of people who sometimes you even forget you had that conversation with, they're like, you really inspired me. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what I said. I hope it was nice. But like,
it's nice though, isn't it?
I
find it hard as well, being that though, when you are out and about and you're trying to do this and get to there, but you want to do that. You want to help people because you remember it. You remember it yourself.
Oh yeah. Sometimes like the club's on fire and you're like, I'm really sorry and I don't give people my time. So I hope they're not like,
no,
like,
I think people understand.
Yeah.
I think
most people do. And I hate entitlement.
Yeah.
Like I'm not entitled still. Like Maya, SYREETA, all those people will still go and introduce themselves to people who are like, oh, hi, I'm SYREETA, by the way. They never assume that anyone knows who they are or anything like that. I hate, like, there's this kid the other day, HE.SHE.THEY just stuck their arm out. And I was like, what? Like, and they're like, just for a VIP band. And I'm like, you haven't said hi, you haven't said anything. I just want to kind of like grab your arm and put it in a twist. Like, and I just thought, no, you're not getting a band. Like, and they're like, oh,
it's the opposite of what you need to be doing in this scene. 100%.
Just there's nothing like just being like, thank you for taking the time. Like when you send your tracks to someone or whatever, like, don't be humble about the music.
Yeah.
Like, don't do yourself down. Don't knock yourself out of a room already. But just be like humble in terms of like, I know you're really busy. Thank you for I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to these tracks. Please, if you can you let me know what you think? I'm a big fan of something like that. That message will do way more in getting someone to listen to the music. And then if you follow up like maybe 2 weeks later going, if you haven't had a reply, going, oh, I know you're really busy. You might have missed the email or just been busy.
Yeah.
I'd really appreciate if you did have the time to comment on these tracks, rather than sometimes you get people like, I'm the shit. Like, I'm the best DJ that's ever happened. I just need a chance. And then literally I've had it where the same day people want, have you listened to the tracks yet?
Well, do you know what I get, which I can't stand? I can't stand when someone sends me something and I might even see it and just go, okay, cool. And then 2 days later, I just get loads of messages with just question marks.
Oh,
and
the
I'm
question mark makes you want to also
what does that
put them in a headlock.
Isn't that the worst thing ever? Just be like, hey, I know you're busy. Like,
it's just so
have
rude, man. Like, because also, like, I'm not going to work with you now because you're going to be a dick to work with. Like,
I know, right?
That's what you're telling people. And like, the one of the other things that I quite like doing, which is a little naughty tip, but like, everyone's a bit narcissistic in the music industry, even if humble and non-entitled, myself included. But like, if say for instance you're sending a track and you wanted like Richie Houghton or Sarah Landry or whatever to play it or hear it, be like, I made this track after listening to your mix, and like go on YouTube, find a mix that's
totally.
made it, like Cocoon and Amnesia on like I don't know 10 years ago or whatever, and be like, I heard this set and then I was inspired by that. Even if you weren't,
Totally.
because Sven will be really intrigued as to like,
exactly.
So what does this song sound like? I remember the song.
It's really in the minute. It's a hook to sort of say, to make people go, oh, okay, and think more than just, well, you know, can you do something for me? It's
100%.
going deep than that. I totally agree.
And that value exchange as well of saying like when I was dealing with Michael Morley's or people like that, of also not me just coming and saying, I want you to do something for me, being like, what can I do for you? Or like for instance, it could be like, if you're a newer artist and the person hasn't played in the North or whatever, and being like, oh, if you come to the Northeast, let me know if you need any help, like whipping up locals for the show, whatever. Even if it's something that the person wouldn't utilize, the fact that you're offering something in this kind of value exchange is amazing. Or like going to Sven, like, or whoever, being like, oh, I'd love you to listen to this. Also, if you've got the parts to anything, I'd love to remix something to you for free.
Yeah.
Now the person is engaging because like, oh, well, maybe, like, and it won't work every time. Because sometimes as well, it's just like headspace, or there just isn't a track out there or whatever. But just even that offering of something, like, isn't it amazing if Sven doesn't play your original or sign your original, but you end up doing a remix of Sven or Richie Houghton or whoever? Like, that's still a win. So the win might not be in the first place that you think it's going to be, or like, again, point of monetization of like doing a remix for free. That free remix might get you into the world of Elro or Cocoon or whoever, or Paradise or whoever you're doing the remix for. And then you go and get a gig for money. So the remix, yes, you've done it for free, but you've got 3 gigs at Paradise, which has then created other gig interest because you played Paradise. So
it's the concept of networking.
Money will come eventually if you do good work.
The long play, isn't it? Not just it's going to happen straight away. I often say the same when people, you know, I really encourage new artists to aim high and have that vision, but sometimes realise you're not necessarily going to get signed by Tool and Defected straight away, and think about that journey, but think about the long game plan of relationship building. That's one of the things I always think is big advice. I've got so much more I want to talk to you about. I reckon we have to do like a part 2 of this, because there's so much more I want to talk to you about. I'm going to give you a couple of rapid fire questions to see how quickly you can
see if I can be succinct. Do you know, I did a RA podcast with Sophia, and I think it's 2.5 hours.
But I could totally see that. I'm sitting here. I wish we'd booked it way longer. So
sorry, I was also late, so also my bad.
It's cool. It's cool. There's a lot, because I think you've got a lot of knowledge and insight to give. And I want, you know, even from your psychology background, talking about, you know, mental health as a subject in general. I know you're quite passionate about.
Because I've been label boss, like music manager, promoter, all these things.
It's very diverse, your career. And I think you've already given so much great nuggets of advice, and just such an enjoyable story hearing about this stuff.
Thanks,
but
man.
I want a couple of rapid fire ones. One artist that you think is underrated right now, or an artist that you're like, people need to watch out for this artist, like coming through.
I'll give you both of those, then the 2 different people. Emily Nash is underrated. I think it's mad that she has produced all these big songs. And
I think generally people won't know that.
Yeah. But this is it, because like the press pickup on her has been not as good as it should be, even though she supported like John Summit and Calvin Harris, and she's remixed Calvin and done a whole bunch of different things. Like as I say, second youngest woman to produce #1.
Yeah,
she's done
wicked.
Yeah, she's done really, support tours in arenas around Europe. Like, so at one point that will click and people will be like, oh. Emily Nash, of course. I know it's just one of those acts and she'll get her flowers. And then new act to look out for is this guy called Bradley Skeng, who's remixed Bush Baby, House Gospel Choir, MK. It's like played for Defected and HE.SHE.THEY, and is it's just kind of doing bits.
Okay. Now we've heard a lot of great nuggets of advice here that I think people will take away. Could you give like worst advice that you hear people say in the music industry, or worst advice you've ever been given? Can you think of something?
um,
Or is it just the opposite of what you've been saying today,
yeah,
generally?
kind of like I hear a lot of people who are like, "Oh, we'll never accept to do free work," and I'm like to newer art, or actually sometimes I see that thing about like, when people say, "Oh, you don't need a label ever to be big or whatever,"
Yeah.
and you're like, people who say that, not always, but a lot of times, tend to have been on a major label or a Defected or a Tool Room, released 3 or 4 records, had a big platform, then doing it off the back of a whole bunch of other work, or they're like,
Yeah.
I've just kind of done this on my own. You're like, you have a radio plugger, a publicist, one in America, a lawyer, a booking agent, one in North
So
America, one
be
in
wary of those artists that, that give you that
sometimes
advice.
it's like,
Okay.
come on.
Yeah.
Not always, but like 9 times out of 10,
Yeah.
I'd be like, it takes a village to
I hear.
make things happen.
This one could be difficult to answer as a quick one, but what excites you most about like the future of music, clubbing, culture?
Do you know what? It's a funny one because I know that a lot of people probably think differently, but like I actually quite like that people can self-release and do all these things and be. It probably sounds counterintuitive for what I said, but
No, but could be a bit more in control.
yeah, it's more democratized because of TikTok and socials and stuff. You can go and tell your story regardless of if Radio 1 picks you up or Mixmag picks you up or whatever. And I think that's important. And you can have a control of what your narrative is, because it's not just about what people are writing about you. You can show people who you are. So that's why I always think like
Yeah.
TikTok, Instagram, all these things, like people need to actually really utilize those things as like, I know it can feel a bit cringe, and I don't think like, if you don't want to do a TikTok dance, don't do a TikTok dance. If you think it's not going to work for you, like eat everything it works with, because that's who he is.
Yeah.
Like not he's cringed that, as in,
But even the way he does it,
he's just fun.
He
like,
sort of mocks.
he gets
he's
the
got
joke.
to do it. He gets he's got his own way of doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but like Sarah Landry or Honey Love, they're both like into fashion. So they go and show they're into fashion. So like, but then that's also a self-fulfilling prophecy of like Sarah Landry now does stuff for Rick Owens. Honey Love does a lot of stuff for different labels and stuff too, because, and same for SYREETA, like, because they've shown who they are, what they wear, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you want to get into fashion, show that you're into fashion. Like, have a spin-off on your socials of like, I'm going, like, I've set myself a challenge of like, here's 50 quid, what's the best outfit I can get?
Yeah.
Here's this, like, right, we're going vintage shopping for this, or here's my vintage, here's my whatever. Or like I wanted to do script writing. And so that was kind of where the comedy character thing happened. Was like,
Yeah.
if I realized if I want to do comedy, people have to see you as a comedian. So, okay, I can do this drag character, which is a host, a he/she/they, is a wrestler, is a stand-up, whatever.
Yeah.
And now people, when I go, oh, I'm writing a sitcom, people aren't like, and I'm now, actually, it's a cool thing. I've been working with this ex-BBC comedy commissioner to do a sitcom.
Oh, wow.
That like,
I was about to ask what's coming next.
yeah, but
that sounds really
it's
exciting.
because I say that, that whole like, ask the universe, set your intention.
Yeah.
Like, luck always goes hand in hand with hard work, because people are like, I don't know how you've done all these things. I'm like, because I've said out loud to people, like, this is what I want to do.
You
and
physically
then
go for it though. You do it.
Well, this is it. And like putting on your socials, like, do I know anyone who works in TV? Do I know anyone who works in thing? Like, ask those questions. Like, don't be embarrassed to say like, this is what I want.
Put yourself out there.
Yeah, because no one will guess. Like for instance, when we sat down, you weren't like, oh, I bet he wants to be a pro wrestler, or like, I bet he wants to do. So all these things, like, and I've been guilty of it myself, of like, oh, someone will just kind of like discover me or think of this.
Yeah.
Why? Like, why would they? People are really busy, like you say. People don't guess. So you have to say like, oh, I want to be a wrestler, I want to screenwrite, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. And then that sets off a spark in someone else going like yesterday I went on a big walk with a big festival booker, and I didn't know that they were also writing a sitcom. So then we started talking about sitcoms, and it made our friendship deeper. But then we're also like, oh, maybe we could collaborate on writing. And it says like, he wouldn't have guessed that I did that. I wouldn't have guessed that he did that. So like that kind of like manifesting thing is really just saying stuff out loud. And then, because sometimes as well, it's like, you'd be amazed at like, oh, well, actually my partner is this, or my dad's dog's friend is this, or whatever. Like, and as well from club nights, I don't know if same thing as you, but like you end up meeting the most random people. Like William Morris once asked me, because Rick Owens needed a horse taxidermed for a fashion show, and they're like, you're the weird guy. Do you know anyone who can taxiderm a horse? And I did. And within 20 minutes, I'd looped in Rick Owens' marketing team with this person who's a taxidermist of large animals, because we'd done a video which had taxidermy in once, and then they knew someone, and it's like, it's so bizarre. So that is, like, I wouldn't even have thought if you'd asked this. It's like, oh, actually, do you know what I do? So, and I always save people's names with like thingy taxidermy, this, like the salient parts of conversation, and also just ask people. That's the other thing. It's your responsibility to ask different people, like, you know, like to stop networking being superficial of like, oh, you're an A&R, what can I do for you? Like, you know, what you like doing when you're not listening to music? People don't get asked a lot of these things, or like, oh, so did you always want to be an A&R? Have you got these other passions? Honestly, it will often like turn on a tap of like, oh, well, totally. You know, I love this and I love that and I love this.
Totally. I've had people just, you know, realise that they've noticed occasionally I'll post about like retro VWs. I love old campers, Beatles, and they've chatted to me that randomly, and suddenly we're having a 20-minute chat. But then a relationship started from that rather than anything. And you wouldn't have had the 20-minute chat about another person asking to get like something else on Tour Room. Or so I hear what you're saying. It's like, I think the thing is,
we're in different touch points of like, that's your passion. It's
totally.
Like,
and I think people don't realise that they've got more control over all of this themselves now. Everything they've got access to. If that, you know, that's where I know you were going with that one of like, of that's an exciting thing. You're it sounds cheesy, but your destiny's in your hands, and you've got more tools to be able to do it now, haven't you? Man. It's like fully going for it, isn't it?
Like that's the thing. Like, don't just fire off like generic emails to everyone. If you really, really want to be on Tour Room or HE.SHE.THEY or whatever, just take 20 minutes to do, like, look on the socials page, look at what people are posting, like go into AI even, like AI is your friend, go and be like, what do you know on Stephen Brains? What do you know on HE.SHE.THEY? Like, la la la.
Find some common ground.
Yeah, just like, oh, they've got artists like, did it, or be like, I mean, I also think AI is a really good tool, like not just in like music creation, but as in like a heuristic of like, if I was doing this talk in Sunderland, and they were like, oh, you know, how do you do this thing if you have not got like money? I'm like, go into AI and be like, I'm starting a new club night in Newcastle for 200 people. It's a house music night. Can you write me a marketing plan?
Yeah.
Now, it won't be perfect, but it will go and give you rough kind of pillars of like things to be thinking about, or ask it like act as a club promoter. What are the things I should think about before doing my night? What are the risks? What are the pros?
Don't
be
afraid of it. Lean on it. You can utilize it.
Yeah, like, and I find myself doing it in certain places. It's a territory we've not been to. Like, what are artists that, here's 20 artists. What are the artists that will sell or have played there or whatever? And it's a really useful tool. I don't think it should replace artistry. I think that AI can still have its place in the way that auto-tune or different things.
But you can, from a research point of view and planning point of view, it can really help you.
Writing press release. I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
I've got a first class honours degree, a distinction at masters. I'm not thick, but I am dyslexic, and sometimes I will also write P as a B and different weird things. Like, so going and writing emails sometimes, especially to people I don't know, and putting that into AI and go like, can you check the spelling? Like, because AI is also like Grammarly and things like that.
Like, totally.
Like just making sure you get things professionally right, or if you're really pissed off with someone, say this, but in a tone.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
Like,
I think we've all done that. I've definitely leaned on that and sort of been like, can you reword that?
Yeah,
I love it, man.
So lean into those things, and that's cheap. Like, I've got an anthropomorphic one, which is like Claude and things like that. It's like 20 quid a month.
Yeah.
and it really
It's a good
pays
tool to
dividends.
have.
So yeah, there's a lot of those things, and there's a lot of good, like the Tool Room Academy. Not to just give you props because I'm here, but like there are those things where there's no geographical barriers as well to like accessing things online, and like if you don't use them, that's kind of on you. And I always think like it's worth investing in some of these things because it might well save you 10 grand worth of mistakes or just time or whatever.
Time.
So
I hear you, man.
big up Tool Room and its
Oh,
academy.
thank you, mate. Well, look, big up yourself. This chat's been awesome. I could sit here for another 2 hours chatting to you.
Yeah, I could. I'm very
going
comfy.
and
This is
literally
you, man.
going even deeper in it. But it is I think you've got a really inspiring story, and like, just, you know, I really respect you for what you do
Thank
in the
you, man.
industry, for what you believe in, for what you fight for, and you know, you're really there to just give people a chance and to help. Because really, people that are working in the scene, the industry, are there to trying to create opportunities
100%.
for new people, and
anyone
I really
can
see that
do
and
it.
feel that with what you do.
Like we weren't Nepo babies or netball
No,
babies.
totally.
We weren't trust fund kids. We weren't like.
Totally.
So the thing is, it's like, and I know women, black and brown people, all these people who had the same stories as us. I mean, all right, times maybe you have to hustle more at the start.
Yeah.
Whatever, like that is what it is. So you have to do it, but like it is possible. And I think that I don't know if you had this growing up, but like, especially when I was younger, there was like dreams of other people. Like, oh no, that's like for London and whatever. And I love the fact that Patrick Toppins and Richie Ahmeds and LP Rhythms and all these people have come from our region. Ellie Scoogle, like Lala from the Northeast, have shown that it is possible.
Yeah, totally.
But it is, if you're watching this or you're listening to this, like you can actually genuinely do it. There is no, if you really, really, really want it badly, it can happen. And it might also be not as an artist. It might be as an A&R. It might be as a publicist. It might be, and I've danced around all those different jobs to kind of get where I am. And also a lot of it's not glamorous.
Yeah.
And like sometimes to get into the industry, it's the person who's really good at doing Excel spreadsheets and all this stuff. And then you
100%.
start getting the creative stuff.
There's ways in.
So
And I think you just got to go for it and try not to feel too overwhelmed about that end goal, and realise that it can be a journey. And I think we've seen that. But thanks so much.
Yeah,
man.
sorry, I didn't want to keep.
No, I love it.
But I think it's a
it.
really important message.
It's inspiring. It's really inspiring. Honestly, Stephen, thank you so much, mate, for taking the time.
Big love.
We'll have you back for part 2 at some point.
down,
Honestly, because I feel we could probably lose a whole day chatting, you and me. But it's been awesome. And make sure, you know, if you want to follow Stephen on his channels, he's on Instagram, Stephen Brains, he, she, they, the Weird and Wonderful. I've got their own social media as well, right?
Sandra Spitz, if you want to follow my drag career.
I'm definitely going to follow that. I want to see some of this. I want to see some of the wrestling. This sounds
silly.
amazing. But hope you guys have really enjoyed that and found that helpful. Join us for another episode of the Artist Breakthrough podcast. And of course, if you like this, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, guys? Nice one. Take care. Cheers, guys.
Thank you for listening and watching. Bye.
Thank you, mate. That was so cool. I wish we had so much more time.